the best scenes of 2020. So obviously it's kind of hard to do this without doing spoilers. So here's how it's going to work. Right before I show each scene from each thing, I'm going to say what it's from, like, oh, Tenet, for example, right? And then if you haven't seen Tenet, I'm going to leave a little timestamp. And if you click that, go in the description, you click that, it'll just take you to the next number up and you can just continue the list from there. Cool? Swag, let's do it. So I know this might not seem like a traditional scene, but it's my list, so I'm gonna count it, okay? So obviously, this Fresh Prince reunion, if you've seen it, it is phenomenal. It's just so cool to see because Fresh Prince is one of the best shows of all time. We can all agree. And this scene in particular is a tribute to one of the best TV fathers. In fact, I'll say the best TV father of all time. One of the best just sitcom characters of all time. It's such a touching thing because James Avery, he was phenomenal, and it's so cool to see all of them react to it and how much just love and care they still have for this man, because I have so much love and care for this man. And it's a testament to how James Avery's legacy will never really die, because Uncle Phil as a character will never die. Like J. Cole said, first things first, rest in peace, Uncle Phil. In our number 9 spot, we got Tenet. Okay, Tenet has a lot of good scenes, but the one I'm going in particular is the airport fight. And on my little notes, I put times too, because both times it happens, right? Because the first time it happens, it's just a cool fight, right? It's one of our first big introductions into the combat in this world of Tenet and how things moving backwards work into combat, right? And it's just a cool scene, right? Overall, it's cool seeing them sneak in and try to pretend to buy these paintings. That's pretty cool. And then when they come back through the movie the second time, it's just so much cooler and it adds so much more context, and you understand who these masked guys are. It's one of the many genius moments in this movie where you're just like, damn, Christopher Nolan, this man's next level. It's just a really cool action scene. I really like it. Yeah. Number 8, we have our Coyote from Mank. This our Coyote scene, it's a really good one because all throughout the movie, okay, and I've heard this as a criticism of the movie. People are like, well, why does it get into all this political stuff and all this crazy stuff? All this stuff is to explain why Mank is writing this about Randolph Hearst. It's all about that. So this Coyote scene where he's giving this big speech, it puts everything into perspective in the movie, and it's kind of like the final nail in the coffin. You're like, oh, okay, this is why. Okay, I get it. And it's just such a cool scene because Gary Oldman is awesome, and so is Tywin Lannister, Charles Dance. I really like his acting and Amanda Seyfried's acting because they convey so much emotion, and it's like they're talking back to Mank, but they're not saying anything. They're just conveying all these words and emotions with just their facial expressions, and it's really cool. And Gary Oldman's awesome just in general, and then just watching all the people get up, and then he basically kicks Mank out while we see the inception of this idea for one of the best movies of all time, Citizen Kane. Just a really cool scene. Before we get mad, people, everyone chill before everyone gets mad. We can all agree that the museum trip is awesome, okay? Because the museum trip is the scene that everyone wanted, okay? Not gonna lie, me too. While I was playing this game, I was getting kind of a little worried. I was like, guys, what are we doing here, man? We're not gonna have any Joel and Ellie scenes. Like, what is going on? And then we get this museum trip, and it's just like, oh, yes, finally. It feels so good. It's like jumping in a pool on a nice summer day. You're just like, all right. Everything's nice. Everything's good. It's just such a cool scene because we get this Joel and Ellie dynamic we've been craving for multiple years since the first game. And it's just so awesome. It's such a, it doesn't really impact the story that much, but it's just so nice to see them together again. And to see how much Joel has grown since the first game, and Ellie just being Ellie, and she's cracking jokes. It's awesome, guys. Such a good scene. Next up after that, at number 6, I have the final match from the Queen's Gambit, right? And when I was making this list, I was like, all right, the Queen's Gambit, it's going to have a scene probably on this list, but I really wasn't sure which one until I saw the final match, guys. What is not to love about this match? It is the culmination of the entire show. And when she looks up at the wall and she sees the things without her drugs, dude, come on, that's hype. I also really like the scene for a reason that some people might not even talk about that much, and that's how much they actually humanize Borgov, right? Because all throughout the series so far, Borgov has just seemed to be this evil guy, and he's scheming, and he's closing the door on her. Ooh, he's evil, right? But then once she beats him, he goes down very honorably. And we forget that, guys, these people aren't evil. They're just playing chess, all right? It's not that, this isn't war or anything. It's chess. It's nice to see him just be humanized, and then to see Benny and all the squad, all the boys back home just going crazy. And just for Beth to finally get just the culmination of everything, and for Mr. Schreibel to be avenged. We must avenge Mr. Schreibel. Yeah, good scene. Next up, we got Paul's vision from The Five Bloods, all right? Paul, if you saw my list of the top 10 actors, Paul's awesome, okay? He's such a rich character. He's such a good embodiment of the struggles of someone struggling with PTSD, and he's just a really good character. And then he goes off on his own, and you're just like, Paul, my man, what are you doing? You're just leaving the squad, you're leaving the Bloods, and what is going on? And then we get this awesome scene with Delroy Lindo and Chadwick Boseman, and it is just, it adds so much context to the story. It shows us why Paul's been so crazy. And then you're like, Paul, I get it, my man. I understand your plight now. I get it. And it's just, not gonna lie, it's a pretty sad scene. But it's just so much emotion, just crammed. Like, someone got a syringe and just straight ejected emotion into me. It's that good of a scene. It's so good. I've said it's so good probably like 1,000 times, but I mean, it's true. The acting's phenomenal, the directing's phenomenal, the lighting's phenomenal, as just that, and those angelic rays just shine down on Chadwick. It's an awesome scene. Next up, at number 4, we got Joe's Realization in Soul. A really good movie, right? And Joe's a really good character also, but this is probably one of the most serious scenes in a Pixar movie I can think of in a long time, in the sense of there's really no jokes, there's really no dialogue. It's just him reflecting and just nice piano. That's all there really is. But in this scene, Joe's already feeling that emptiness that he was hoping that would be filled by his passion of finally getting the sweet piano gig. And he just looks back on his life and just reflects on all the things he's done with 22 and what it really means to live life. It's just a really good scene because the whole question of what is the meaning of life, it's such a hard question to tackle, but the way Pixar goes about it, it is a solid answer. This could be it. It's a really solid answer, and for Joe, who's been struggling with this his whole life, it's just a really good scene. It's nice to see him do that, and then he just gets in the zone, plays that piano, and it's just sick. I'm a sucker for a good piano. Great scene. Next up at number 3, we got the God monologue from Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And you know, what can I say about this monologue? The whole scene is just good. All these actors are just phenomenal, right? And this scene is so good because, well, one of the reasons, it doesn't even have the main character. Well, I would argue that Levy's the main character, but Ma Rainey's not even in the scene. It's just these guys down below talking and sharing stories. And then Levy comes in, and Levy's just so distraught with God, and he reflects back on the whole story with his mom, and he's attacking someone, and he's questioning God, and he's attacking God, and it's such a heartbreaking, sad scene. But it's also so real because I feel like everyone's had that moment where you're questioning God and you're attacking God like that, and you're asking why did he turn his back and all these things. And it's just such a real moment, and the acting's phenomenal. Everything about this scene is just phenomenal. And actually, at our number 3 spot, the best film scene I have. The next 2 aren't from films. Wow. What's it gonna be? Our number 2 scene, we have the single X-Wing scene from The Mandalorian, okay? First of all, I've heard some people critique this scene and say, oh, it's too fan servicey. Who cares, dude? If this is too fan servicey, just inject it into me, okay? This is all I've ever wanted for the last 100 years of my life. It's that freaking good. If you were like me and you saw that first single X-Wing flying, you're like, dude, nah, there's no way. And then you see that green lightsaber, and if you're also like me, you just start just hitting things, just banging on things, whatever's nearby, because it's that hype. Because especially with 7, 8, and 9, say what you will, a lot of people were very disappointed by those movies. To see this awesome moment and to see Luke in his just entirety, in his prime, it is just so awesome, and it's And it's in the same vein of that Darth Vader hallway scene. And it's so cool to have a hero, a protagonist, get this awesome, just badass scene like that. And the music's awesome. Ludwig, my man. Shout out to Ludwig. I forgot to mention him on Tenet because the music's awesome there too. But Ludwig here too, he's so good as far as music goes because it's so new, but it's so reminiscent of the old Star Wars music. And then we get some classic themes, and the music's just phenomenal, right? We get Mando and Baby Yoda. That's a really touching scene too at the end. But it's just such an overall good scene. My second favorite scene of the whole year. And my favorite scene from 2020 has to be the one with Ryan and his mama and Stormfront. Guys, what can I say about this scene? This scene is just, dude, I was just like, it was just dead silent when I was watching this. I was watching this with my brother and one of my friends, and it was just dead silent when we were watching this because it was just so freaking intense, right? Stormfront is such a scary character, and when she's about to kill Ryan's mom, you're just like, damn, dude, this is gonna suck. And then Ryan just goes off. He finally goes off after we've been waiting the whole freaking season for him to do something. And he does. And then you're just like, damn, dude, this sucks. And for a character like Butcher to show so much emotion here, one of the most heartbreaking moments for me is when he just starts screaming. And he's just like, somebody help. And he's just screaming. Because when he's doing that, he knows that Homelander's nearby. And he knows that Homelander's gonna hear him. It's almost like this is like the one situation where he's almost actually calling to Homelander for help because he knows that Homelander's gonna come. He might kill Butcher, but at least he's gonna save Becca to make Ryan happy. It's such a just a heartbreaking moment for Butcher, and it's so sad. And then once Becca dies, and he just gets that crazy look in his eyes, and for a second I was like, damn, he's gonna freaking kill this kid, man. What the? And then Homelander comes in, and Butcher's kind of reminded of just how much evil Homelander has done and how much he's affected Becca and how much Becca didn't like him and how much he needs to be there for Ryan now. And dude, Anthony Starr in this scene, man, come on. This guy's freaking phenomenal in this scene. I honestly can't even describe his acting and do it justice, but this is like 10 out of 10 acting right here. Like, you can't get any better than this. This man's awesome, but I already gushed about him enough on my top 10 actor scenes. The acting all around is just phenomenal, and Stormfront, yeah, screw her. It's nice to see her, like, get all toasty, all Anakin Skywalker Episode 3 toasty, and just a really good scene. And yeah, that is my list. Thank you so much for watching, and if you like this list, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.